Greetings, aloha, ilakesh and aloha. Welcome to presentation number 22, something of an impromptu presentation that has just come all together very quickly. I'd like to share with you, first of all, I wanted to find a suitable image to put on the screen, so what better than my notebook and the message, which is something of a mantra to live our lives by. But one of the reasons I wanted to make this video is to share with you real news. You will not find news printed on paper. You will not find news broadcast through radio frequencies or through screens. That is real to real. That is not real news. You are given signs. By night you have the stars, and it is shown and interpreted as astrology. But what of the signs during the day? Well, at 2:44 this afternoon, I happened to look up and look out of the window, and there in the garden, bearing in mind that this is an urban setting, was a muntjac deer. That is real news given to you. That is a sign. It's unusual, but it got my attention. So, not knowing the meaning of the news that I have been given, the sign that I have been given, I looked it up, and the spiritual meaning for the muntjac deer talks of fighting for what's yours, defending your territory. Well, that is the vessel that our souls are in, and what this shadow world of Caesar is trying to suggest to us all. It is about alertness, the power of observation, finely tuned instincts. Well, I think that is proven in what has happened and what I've just described. Letting others know that they're in trouble, comparing yourself to others, surrender to the spirit, trust in nature. So yes, I'll take all of that, letting others know when they're in trouble. Well, I shall do that right now. I happened to look at the Wikipedia entry, the fountain of all knowledge, for the doctor's Hippocratic Oath. So I pulled this up on screen, and it says, this is the oath, still in use today by many US medical schools, it says here in the notes. I swear to fulfill to the best of my ability and judgment this covenant. I will respect the hard-won scientific gains of those physicians in whose steps I walk, and gladly share such knowledge as is mine with those who are to follow. I will apply for the benefit of the sick all measures that are required, avoiding those twin traps of over-treatment and therapeutic nihilism. Well, for a start, therapeutic nihilism is basically saying that you have the ability to heal yourself. I'll come back to that point in a moment. But returning now to the other points in this Hippocratic Oath, it says, I will remember that there is art to medicine as well as science, and that warmth, sympathy and understanding may outweigh the surgeon's knife or the chemist's drug. I will not be ashamed to say I know not, nor will I fail to call in my colleagues when the skills of another are needed for a patient's recovery. I will respect the privacy of my patients, for the problems are not disclosed to me that the world may know. Well, that's funny. I think certainly in the Western world, your medical notes are shared with various health services and things. It goes on to say, most especially must I tread with care in matters of life and death. If it is given me to save a life, all thanks, but it may also be within my power to take a life. This awesome responsibility must be faced with great humbleness and awareness of my own frailty. Above all, I must not play God. Well, that in itself is a contradiction, because it says earlier within that same oath, within that same paragraph, about having the power over life and death. Is that not playing God? And then it says about not playing God. So which is it? I think it's more a hypocritical oath rather than a Hippocratic Oath. I will remember that I do not treat a fever chart, a cancerous growth, but a sick human being whose illness may affect the person's family and economic stability. My responsibility includes those related problems if I am to care adequately for the sick. I will prevent disease whenever I can, for prevention is preferable to cure. So I offer their own oath as a falsity and hypocrisy. Further to that doctor's oath and the similar oaths that dentists and solicitors and the other lawyers and liars and solicitors that solicit for your money are all breaking the law. When I say the law, I am talking about the eternal law. The law is shown to you in the 66 books of magic that you all know as the Bible. The law and the promise is the fulfillment of God becoming man. So God is in its most restricted, constricted and limited form, that we may once again find that we are God. If I can use an analogy here with children, the way they play. So if you take a miniature car, that child's imagination will become the driver of that car, but obviously it doesn't have all the mechanical workings of a real car. So it is a very limited object that child uses its imagination to become. Likewise with dolls and action figures, they are normally posed, but in the imagination of a child they are animated. So, the law and the promise, everything else is subservient to that. Yes, you have the workings with the law of assumption and the law of liberty. And a great guide to this is to listen to The Impersonal Life by, I think it was Orison Swett Marden. I'll put the links in the description for these. The other three are outlined by Neville Goddard, and certainly worth hearing. So if we take Scripture as being the guide to the law and the promise, which it is, I refer you to Mark 5, verses 25 to 34, Mark 10, verse 52, and also Matthew chapter 9, verse 22 and 29. You've probably got your own copy of a Bible, or you can always look these up online. But basically it is saying, by thy own faith you heal yourself. This is what the therapeutic nihilism is also saying. So to go with these liars in these white coats and put your faith in a false idol is going against the law, and their own words, their own oath are their undoing, because they do not even stick to this oath either. As I found out from a friend yesterday, the doctor tied themselves up in complete knots through their own incompetence and basically just wanting to process a patient rather than help a human being, which I thought was the whole purpose of a doctor. But clearly these days it is anything but. But hey, it's not all doom and gloom. It is all about going within oneself. It is all about mind over matter. You can, of course, take the pharmaceutical tablet route, the artificial, but keep in mind that the foundation and basis of that is a profit, a false profit, which is shared out amongst shareholders. It is hardly for your benefit. Remember that healthcare is a business, and its business is in sickness. No business is going to outsell themselves and kill their own customer base. You can, because it is the physical vessel, the soul carrier that we're talking about, you can back up the power of the mind by taking steps to help yourself, by going down the homeopathic and the natural route. The Creator has given you all you need. So for example, for cancer, you have apple seeds which contain vitamin B17. The lemon is a wonderful healer of the body, and there are many, many more. Rosemary for memory, ginger and garlic for the heart and the blood is all worth looking into. These are the things you should be doing for yourselves, not looking at these wretched screens that are just sharing pornography. By definition, pornography is an obscenity. And that's basically what is being shared in what the media, the screens show you as news. There's nothing new about it. It is the same script being played over and over again to grab your attention, so you are not finding out who you are and your purpose, which is our reason, our sole purpose for being here. So yes, I felt particularly humbled and blessed today to see the muntjac deer, and I would urge all of you to look for the real news, look for those real signs. I will put the links into the description to the laws that I've mentioned, the eternal laws. They're a very good place to start, a very good thing to look into. It is all about what you can do for yourself. Yes, by all means, listen to other people, but it is what you do for yourself, the effort you put in to help yourself, because you are there for yourself, to help yourself. That does not mean being selfish, of course, but if you have not helped yourself first, how can you be the best version of yourself to help anybody else? It is all a process, it is all a learning curve, it is all part of our spiritual path, it is all part of our soul journey. Now you may have earthly ideas, material ambitions and things you still wish to do, there is nothing wrong with that. But you can at least spend, 5, 10, 15 minutes, if nothing more, on doing some meditation, going within, going inside yourself. If somebody gives you a particular political view that you don't agree with and you get angry from that, is it because of what that other person has said, or is it a feeling coming from within you? You decide whether you want to be controlled by emotions or external forces, or whether you wish to be the captain of your own vessel and master your own thoughts. Because it is all about thought, word and deed. The three have to be in alignment. That is very important for all of us to keep in mind all the time. This path is full of rabbit holes, cobbled stones and rocks that can trip us up. if we are not looking carefully all the time and being aware all the time. This is what we really need to do. And of course, share our personal experiences with each other. They will resonate with those that are wanting to listen. And the intention is that these messages do help other people through these difficult times. Yes, there is a mandatory test. It is not the way it is portrayed in the reel-to-reel news. It is a test. It is shown to you in the two books called the Old and New Testament. Well, what is meant, that is mind. It is all a test on the mind. It is all about, regardless of this illusory shadow world, what it is showing you, to deny it and go within and take power and control over your own vessel, over your own mind, of walking with God, of handing over the controls, leading that impersonal life. Joseph Benner is the author of that. It's just come back to me. Anyway, I will put the links in the description, and I will say ta-ta for now. Ilakesh.